What's going on, everybody? Monday, September 3rd, Labor Day. I almost said Memorial Day, but Labor Day. We are here to labor for you. Jake and I are going to break down both the early and the main slate. Lots of games to talk about. We're going to dive in quickly, but Jake, how was your weekend?
Weekend was good. Didn't have any binks or anything special like that, but hoping to close it out with one here, I guess, for the long extended weekend for most people. Not for us, but for most people.
We grind hard.
We do.
Grind real hard. My golf lineups are doing terrible on DK, average on FanDuel. Shouldn't have dipped my toe into that water just yet, but here we are. You ready to talk baseball?
Yeah, I'm ready to talk baseball. My PGA lineups are all right. They're doing okay.
I don't know anything about it. All right, we'll start with the early, then get into the main slate afterwards. But let's do this. First game up. It's a doozy for a pitching standpoint. Cardinals and Nats. Cardinals, 3.2 run implied total. Nats, 4.1. 61% chance to win for the Nats. Jack Flaherty going for the Cardinals. Max Scherzer going for the Nats. I mentioned it on the night shift last night, and it's holding up even more so than I expected. Scherzer is the clear best option of this slate, at least in my opinion. We're projecting 67% ownership. That'll be higher than I'll get to, but I'm going to have him a ton. He's just too good. So let's start with Scherzer. What do you think? How are you going to handle his ownership? 67% right now on DK.
Yeah, so I think that you're getting an ownership discount on him for, again, one of those where it's no reason. He's at home against a bunch of righties. Why wouldn't you want to play him? And that's why you're seeing 67%. It's going to be pretty easy to fit him in. You've got some cheaper options in the 6 and 7K range. So, yeah, it makes sense why he has so much ownership. I think I'm going to be below that just because I don't want all my lineups to be kind of when you have Scherzer in your lineup, you're going to get to a certain lineup construction, no matter how low you go for the second pitcher. And I don't know. I'd like to get a bunch of different types of lineups. And so nothing against Scherzer. I think he's probably going to dominate here, but I will not have 67% of him.
Yeah, I just don't know what to do because if it's either you have Scherzer and you have a very particular structure, or you don't have Scherzer and it's it goes crazy because there's not anybody else that has a price tag where you're going to have any volume. At least to me, I assume you're not getting to an overwhelming amount of Jack Flaherty.
I mean, I love Flaherty just as a pitcher, but the Nats just not the team I want to mess with all that much. So, I mean, I'll have some Flaherty. I don't know what we have him projected at. Yeah, really low.
0?
Yeah, so I'll definitely have some Flaherty. Makes for an actually interesting pivot. If Scherzer were to falter a little bit, I think he has a chance to match him and get 25. It's not a great strikeout matchup, but who knows what the lineups are going to look like today. So if we see kind of a watered-down Nats lineup, I definitely have even more interest in Flaherty. But, yeah, I'm going to have a decent amount of him, probably 10 to 15%, I would say right now.
Okay.
He's just too talented. It's like the Blake Snell thing we were talking about on Saturday. Oh, it was me and EMAC, actually. Just too cheap for how good he's pitching right now.
Yeah, I'm more likely to drop to Hamels instead of Flaherty,
yeah,
but I like the idea of having someone at the top.
Yeah, that's the thing, too. Why I can't, make a huge stand on Flaherty because I like Hamels, too.
So I think we're relatively on the same page here. The 67% is going to be hard to get to for Scherzer. What do you think about the Nats bats? Pretty chalky on DK, although that is mostly just Bryce Harper. Wieters, Turner, and Rendon getting a little juice as well. I'm over the field on both. They're my number 6 stack on FanDuel, number 2 on DraftKings. So are you trying? I assume you're not trying to stack too much against Flaherty.
Yeah, I wasn't really expecting that. I mean, I like Harper and Soto's matchups a little bit, so I'll have some of those guys. But as a full stack, Flaherty's not the one I want to mess with either. So I'm more likely to have nothing in terms of Flaherty and the Nats bats than having Nats stacks against him. So yeah, I don't think you need to stack. It's a 7-game slate right this morning, so
Correct.
I don't think you need to stack against one of the best pitchers on the slate, and the guy has just been kind of mowing down everyone lately.
Yeah, I don't really know how to feel about this. I don't know if I'm comfortable being over the field on the Nats when Flaherty has no ownership.
Yeah.
I think I'll probably, man, it makes me nervous to limit Harper because like I've got just as much as the field of Harper. But that feels like it's probably not the right play. He's just up 4,300. That's an insane price point for Bryce Harper.
Yeah, that's going to make him chalk. Just when you see Bryce Harper 4,300 against a guy that I don't think a lot of people realize how good Flaherty's been, but just a righty name. I think everyone's going to side with a Bryce Harper in that matchup, which I understand. I mean, you can certainly get Flaherty here, but not at 40% ownership. Not interested in that.
Let's take a peek. Flaherty versus left-handed hitters for his career. 403 xFIP compared to a 297 against righties. K per 9 drops by a full 3. Walks quite a bit more lefties. And he's been incredibly hit lucky. But nothing crazy in the hard contact numbers. So if worst case scenario, Flaherty is a league average pitcher against lefties, I don't know if that's going to warrant big time ownership. I'm more likely to manually adjust and pull down on the Nats. Just doesn't feel like the right spot.
Yeah, I agree. I think I like quite a few other spots, including the Red Sox, they have some guys that provide some decent value as well.
Yeah, and we will get to them for sure because I have a bundle. Do you like anything on the card side? I assume that's a really tough spot to target, but Yadier Molina, 22% ownership on DK.
Is that just because he's cheap and good and the catcher?
3,300 hitting second, I guess, but I'm not there.
That's fair.
That's a bit of an aggressive one for me. Yeah, look, Scherzer's the clear best option of anything in this game. I have him projected for 9.4 Ks. Next closest person right now, Vince Velasquez at 6. It's just wildly different ceilings.
Yeah.
I have Scherzer being a top 2 scoring pitcher on DraftKings 57% of the time. So more than half. Crazy.
Yeah. I mean, he's not going to be the reason you win a tournament today, though, at that ownership.
No, not at all. Because if he pitches well, 65% of the people are going to have him too.
Right. It's you got a long ways to go, even if Scherzer gets you 35, 40 here.
Yeah, you need to make sure that you get the right pick out of Lopez, Fulmer, Toussaint, Urena, Davies, whoever you're grabbing there to go with him. You need to make sure you're right. That's going to be the key to the victory.
Yeah, and the right bats too. You got to get the right cheap bats.
Yeah,
so it's tough. But I'm not saying I'm full fading Scherzer by any means, but we'll have definitely less than 2/3 of my lineups Scherzer.
Agreed. Moving on to Phillies and Marlins. Phillies 4-run implied total. Marlins 4-run implied total. 50-50 game. Vince Velasquez going for Philadelphia. Jose Urena going for Miami. I loved Velasquez on the night shift last night. I think he's got a really nice combination of upside and price. Only 7,400 on DK. Kind of crazy for his upside from a strikeout potential. 27% expected ownership on DraftKings. I have 40 and 9% expected ownership on FanDuel. I have 21. Are you on Team Velasquez today?
Yeah, he's someone I kind of overlooked when I was looking through the slate. And I mean, what's not to like? He's a guy that is capable of spikes and strikeouts and DK points, like just a volatile pitcher. And going up against a team with a lot of righties, I'm seeing he might get up to 6 in a row, 2 through 7. Yeah, and not great righties either. Guys that strike out like Brinson and Dean will strike out, and Brian Anderson will even strike out a little bit. Pitcher spot in there as well. Should have the roof closed here. Yeah, it's hard not to like Vince Velasquez for that price. I'll take the ownership on him. I think that I'll take cheap chalk that I think is good. because he's not gonna limit my lineup construction possibilities at 7,400.
Nope,
so
not at all.
I'm
surprised he's only at 2,700, honestly. Or not 2,700, at 27% rather.
Yeah. I don't know how I overlooked him last night. He should be in the spotlight pitchers, so I will say that. I just must have been going too fast or skipped over this game or something. But I like Velasquez a lot.
Scott McMillan in the chat, Velasquez and Williams. You got half of it right.
Dude, Williams, is he good now? I don't know.
He will not be in my lineups today, but we will get to him.
Expensive.
Yeah, if Velasquez is 7,400, I'm cramming him in. I'll have him in at least 50% of my lineups, I think, by the time we get to game time. I like being close to double the field here.
I think that's kind of where I'm at as well.
Everyone must too good of a price.
Yeah. Slack chat's not going right now either, so
don't forget, people, it's Labor Day. There's a decent chance that a lot of people are hungover.
Yeah, maybe including your host.
Or just sleeping. It's Labor Day on the West Coast. It's what?
6:55.
Yeah, so not going to be a big one today, I'm sure. I mean, that means more time for everyone that is joining us,
Yeah, you got questions or comments?
Yeah, firemen. We'll get there eventually. I mean, if they're generic, like, if it's just general questions about the slate, we're going to get to it. Going in order of games and start time. So otherwise, we got time. Myself and Lofty will be going live around 11 o'clock after this, doing a little bit of a process show. First time for me and Lofty. So get ready. Lots of content today if you're sitting around and doing nothing.
Oh, yeah, we kind of got to go quick then, right?
Quick enough. Yeah. Look, we'll get there when we get there. Yeah. No hard and fast rules today. Any bats here? Marlins are not a team I'm looking for. I'll have a little bit of them on DK because they're incredibly cheap, and I don't mind having at least a stack or two on the opposite side of my Velasquez exposure. But Phillies, interesting to me. Number 5 stack on FanDuel, number 6 on DK. I'm basically with the field on everyone. So are you looking at any hitting here?
Yeah, I mean, so I wrote up the Phillies in spotlight stacks last night, and I do like them. But I was kind of assuming that Urena would get some ownership, and he's not getting any, but he's stretched out and he's at home. So I will have more than 1% of Urena. That's absurd when there's Scherzer on the slate. And I'm assuming he's going to be closer to 10 or 15% than what we have him at right now. Are you with me on that?
Urena?
Yeah, I mean, he's going to have some ownership here, right?
I mean, I would have thought that he had more than 1% for sure.
10, 15? Is that too high?
I have him at 7. I think that's a pretty reasonable spot. I would have thought that he combined better with Scherzer, but it looks like we're going to a different cheap pitcher.
Is it? Yeah, it's got to be one of those guys in the Detroit White Sox game. But I don't think Urena's that different.
No, it's not. Zach Davies.
Oh, God. Ugh. All right. My other spotlight stack was the Cubs, so great. But I do like the Phillies. I like lefty power against Urena, just power overall. So I like Carlos Santana leading off, and Herrera and Nick Williams. Asdrubal Cabrera, definitely a tough matchup for Urena, but I'm going to have both him and full Philly stacks. I think it kind of goes one way or the other, so I want exposure to both sides. Like, if Urena's on, he's going to be getting ground balls, and he'll be able to strike out some of these righties. If he's not, it could be a really short outing. And then that Marlins bullpen has been just brutal. Third highest xFIP over the last month. So that's my rationale for having both over the field on Urena and over the field on Phillies bats.
Yeah. I mean, I hope the Urena ownership stays at 1%. I'll happily have significantly more than that. This is one of those games where I can see so many different paths to, like, victory, so to speak.
Right.
I can see the Phillies bats blowing up. I can see this being a pitcher's duel. Velasquez could easily go for 10 Ks here. He has that kind of stuff. So,
yeah,
I'm sort of just all over it, except for I don't really need to target Marlins bats If they break out, they break out. But 123 ISO against righties this year. Nobody in that lineup is terribly scary. So
No JT Riddle for you?
I have like 3%. He's 4,700. Oh,
Where?
wait, you said JT Riddle? Sorry.
Yeah.
I was looking at Real Muto. Real Muto, 4,700 today. No thanks. All right, let's talk about this one because I think that we're both going to be in agreement here. Red Sox and Braves. Red Sox 4.7 run implied total. Braves 4.3. It's a 53% chance to win for the Sox. Nady Eovaldi going after a brief outing a couple days ago. Tuki Toussaint going for Atlanta. I'm not rostering any pitching here, and I don't really have much interest in it. Do you?
Yeah, the pitching is kind of weird because Eovaldi just pitched a couple days ago, like you said, and only went 35 pitches. That could not have been planned, right? Like, this isn't like a bullpen Tampa game, is it? Because why would you start a guy 3 days later? So does anybody know in chat right now, like, what's going on with Eovaldi? Because I haven't found anything now.
I don't see anything that points me to it.
So I guess, is it dangerous to assume that he's just full go and can throw 100 pitches if things are going well? Either way, it's not a great matchup. The Braves aren't a team I love targeting against. Very few strikeouts with Freeman and Markakis and even Camargo and Inciarte. Acuna up top, a lot of power all over the place. Eovaldi, like, if he's not throwing that fastball by guys and it's not moving a little bit, he's going to have a really, really tough time here. So 85 degrees. I think I'm more on the Braves side, the Braves stack than Eovaldi. Just worries me for a number of reasons here.
Rain delay per the chat. Never came back out.
Okay.
I don't remember that at all.
I don't think either of us. Wait, was that the White Sox start? That was it. Kopech. That was the Kopech start.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not looking at pitching here. I definitely don't want Toussaint against the Red Sox, but I want a ton of Red Sox bats. Now we need to have a conversation here because something's happening and I don't understand it. Red Sox, number 1 stack on FanDuel, number 3 stack on DK. We're projecting 10% aggregate ownership on FanDuel. I've got 20. We're projecting 2% aggregate ownership. Only Mookie Betts in double digits. Everyone else less than 3%. I've got 15% aggregate ownership. 7.5 times the field. Can you explain to me why the Red Sox wouldn't be owned today? Because I don't seem to understand.
It's just that we're projecting people to side with Scherzer over the bats. Not that that's a mistake, but it's just a different way of playing. People are looking for safety at their starting pitcher, and who's safer than Max Scherzer from game to game? I haven't made lineups yet, but I'm assuming when we get to crunches, it's going to be really tough to fit in Scherzer, even if you go down to Davies and get in Betts, Benintendi, JD, and anything outside of like a Marlins stack. So it's just going to be tough to fit him in with Scherzer. So that's where I'm going to. I love the Red Sox here. Again, good weather against Tuki Toussaint. He's not a guy that's going to light the world on fire with swinging strikes or anything. Looks pretty decent in the minors, but righty coming up to face the Red Sox. Good luck with that. So only a 4.8 total, so some respect for Toussaint. But yeah, I'm definitely on these Red Sox. This is going to be where I go to avoid Scherzer.
Yeah, and I like having parts of the Red Sox in Scherzer lines, too.
Can you do it?
I mean, I can't see why you couldn't have a 2-man in every Scherzer line you have. What's to stop you from going cheap with the Tigers and having, I don't know, Betts and Kinsler or Benintendi and Bogarts?
Right.
Like with a 2-man, you're fine. I can't imagine ignoring the Red Sox in this start, like wholesale. And that's what's happening here. 2% Benintendi, 1% Mitch Moreland, 3% Bogarts. I mean, what? I don't get it.
I'm right there with you. I'll play a good team at low ownership on a mid-sized slate, while everyone else is going to play the Tigers and I don't even know who else. White Sox be playing that side of it. Just give me the high upside team with really good bats, and I'll pay down at pitching more often than not.
Yeah, this one's just confusing to me. I love the Red Sox here. I'm going to be absolutely mashing them, and it won't change anything for me. I'll still have a ton of Scherzer. Okay. Anything for the Braves, it's not really a spot that I'm loving all that much. Freeman, relatively chalky, 12% ownership on FanDuel, 15% on DK. Otherwise, I don't really love it. I mean, you can get to stacks of the Braves, but they're not a big priority for me. Weather is not advantageous for hitting. I don't know if you took a look at it. 85 degrees, which is fine, but wind seems to be blowing in, 11 miles an hour from left center. So,
I mean, that's fine. 85 degrees is 87 now. It just changed too, but
yeah.
I think they're going to be fine. Like, it's not a game. It's not a Wrigley wind game where it's 15 miles an hour blowing in.
No. I just meant I don't really like the Braves all that much in this spot. And, if it was 15 miles an hour straight to center, it might make me want to bump them like a slight bit. But it's not as if it's just this amazing hitting environment today.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm just good avoiding the Braves. Who do you pair with Scherzer to get Boston outfield? Nobody. Probably.
Don't you have to go with Davies?
I mean, Davies is the only answer, probably, but you're going to be taking some very aggressive concessions to do that.
Yeah.
Reds and Pirates. Reds 3.8 run implied total. Pirates 4.7. It's a 59% chance to win for the Pirates. Matt Harvey going for Cincinnati. Trevor Williams going for Pittsburgh. I have neither pitcher. 0 Williams, we're projecting 0. 0 Harvey, we're projecting 0. I don't like Trevor Williams at all. So how much Trevor Williams will you have?
Very little. He's just too expensive. He has looked better, but when he's priced around Hamels and even Keuchel, he's lower priced than Keuchel. He's not as good of a pitcher as Dallas Keuchel, and I don't really like Dallas Keuchel that much, using him in DFS, but I think I'd rather use him today than Trevor Williams. And he's $600 cheaper. So Williams is really good at limiting the damage. He's done it last 6 out of his last 7 starts, maybe now.
Much better real life pitcher than DFS pitcher.
Yeah. So not someone I stack against really at all. I'll have some Suarez and probably some Scooter Gennett. But yeah, as far as a full stack against Trevor Williams, I'm pretty much off that.
Do me a favor. How's Williams at holding runners?
Yeah, let's see here.
Yeah, so Williams, 8 Ks in his last start. It was the first time that he had more than 5 since mid-June. It's just a lot of limiting damage, no real major upside. Probably a better cash play, I guess, but I just don't see the need to pay $8,500 when you can easily get Keuchel or Vince Velasquez or even Hamels, in my opinion.
If this were against Miami, and he wasn't getting ownership and there were a bunch of righties, then I would more consider it. But a lot of lefties in here, not a ton of strikeouts anyways. So, so he's been good for his career. Okay. He's over his last few years, 64% success rate, but only 7 attempts on him this year in 20 plus starts. So 3 or 4 caught stealing out of 7 attempts. So he's pretty solid.
Billy Hamilton's set to lead off for the Reds. So if anybody's going to test him in baseball, it'll be him. But yeah. I was hoping you were going to say that he was dog shit, and that would make that look a little bit better. Job. Okay. Pirates stack. Number 2 for me on FanDuel. Number 4 on DK. They're chalky. They are the chalk stack on FanDuel. They are tied for 3rd on DraftKings. And I get it. It's Matt Harvey. Run total looks solid. They've been fine against righties all year. Tons of lefties in this lineup that I like quite a bit. Adam Frazier, Gregory Polanco, Corey Dickerson, Josh Bell. If you want to go to the righties, Marte, Cervelli, Colin Moran, minimum salary on FanDuel, another guy that I like quite a bit. You with me? Pirates bats today?
Hard not to like some of these power lefties against Matt Harvey. Just been such a good guy to target. Kind of have laid off targeting him with righties. I just think the stack against him has kind of gotten overused since he's gone over to Cincinnati. And he's capable of getting strikeouts at times, but I think just a couple too many lefties here for me to want to play Harvey in any significant way. And yeah, I mean, Polanco and Dickerson, especially for 3,700, that's got to be one of the chalkier plays on the day, right? Dickerson. Yeah, man.
40%.
40%. So Harper or Dickerson?
Yeah, really. They're like the only two. Well, they're like basically the two outfield one-offs of the day, apparently.
Yeah. I mean, I think Dickerson's a fine play, but 40% on a 7-game slate is kind of ridiculous. At least Harper, we know, has a long track record of being a great hitter. Even if you don't think he's been great this year, he still crushes. But the stack as a whole, like, or at least the lefties, Polanco under 10, and Adam Frazier, if he's in there, he's low owned, and Colin Moran. So you can get to a pretty low owned stack as a whole, even with Dickerson in there.
Yeah, they grade out. They just grade out too well for me to totally ignore them. I would like to, just because of their weird ownership, but they're in a pretty good spot.
Yeah.
I'll have a little bit of Billy Hamilton, a little bit of Joey Votto, maybe a little bit of your boy Scooter and your boy Suarez, but I don't really love this. I don't trust Trevor.
Yeah, I mean, I just think there's no way he really kills me at 8,500 if I fade him. Like, he might get me 20. He might get you 20, and that's fine. But for him to really hurt you, he's got to have another 30-point performance like he did last time out. And
yeah, I won't hold my breath on that one. Yeah. Cubs and Brew Crew. Cubbies 4.6 run implied total. Brewers 4.0. It's a 57% chance to win for the Cubs. Cole Hamels going for Chicago. Zach Davies going for Milwaukee. Hamels only 7% ownership. I got 5. I'd like to see that a little bit higher, but Zach Davies apparently the crown jewel of this game. 12% expected ownership on DraftKings. The natural combination to Max Scherzer. I got 15, but I want to talk it through because I don't really want to have him.
Yeah.
But what are you thinking about for Davies?
I don't see the appeal besides the $4,800 price. I think people are getting fooled by this low total that you're seeing for the Cubs, 4.5 runs, but that's because the Miami bullpen is insane. And so if you are stacking against Davies, you need the Cubs to jump on him early. I know I've said this a few times over the last couple of weeks. I haven't seen the pitcher usage for the Brewers to see who's available if what's his name, Hader's available. But you need the Cubs to jump out early with the lead so they avoid some of the best bullpen arms. And they could certainly do it. I think they have a really good chance to do it. He's been getting blasted by lefties earlier in the season, and he hasn't looked great at any level above Double-A. Like, he dominated in Single-A his last time out. I think he had a complete game with like 6 strikeouts. But at like the Triple-A level and the majors, he's been getting smoked. So healthy Chris Bryant, you've got Rizzo, Schwarber, Murphy, just ready to tee off. Ian Happ, I like a ton. The Cubs are one of my favorite stacks in the slate. So I'm way over the field on the Cubs. Like, they're maybe my highest exposed stack. And then, yeah, I don't think I'm going to have really any Davies.
So I love the Cubs a ton on FanDuel. 17% aggregate for me. We're only projecting 7. That's where I'll have my major Cubs love. Don't get there as much on DK because of how expensive they are. 3 guys above 5,000. Murphy pretty expensive. Schwarber pretty expensive. So I'll still have some Cubs. I'm over the field, but FanDuel is the spot that I'm looking for.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm not playing on FanDuel today, so
There you go.
I'm sure the contests aren't anything special that I'm missing out on.
No, there are not. And then I don't have any Brewers bats. Ryan Braun, though, projected 26% ownership on DraftKings. I've got 3.
My favorite bet to target against Hamels would be Jesus Aguilar.
Yeah.
Or Lorenzo Cain before Braun. Braun just, and I love Braun. I love playing him against lefties and stuff. But he just hasn't showcased a ton of power this year against them. Maybe he's finally healthy, but again, 26% on a 7-game slate. I'd rather go to some of his teammates that are low owned if I'm taking a one-off against Cole Hamels. But I like Hamels a lot.
So do I. I much prefer Hamels here. Just a good spot for him.
Yeah.
All right, here's the weird game of the day. Tigers and White Sox. Tigers 4.2 run implied total. White Sox 4.5. It's a 52% chance to win for the White Sox. Michael Fulmer going for Detroit. Ronaldo Lopez going for Chicago. Michael Fulmer, 26% expected ownership, and I have more than that. I've got 35. I'm also close to triple the field on FanDuel. Lopez getting a little bit of steam on DK, 13% ownership. I have half of that, and I don't really have him on FanDuel. So what do you think about Michael Fulmer? Because he is not a guy that I normally get to.
Yeah, man, Michael Fulmer as chalk coming off a pretty bad outing in Kansas City. Now goes to the White Sox. Yes, there are a lot of strikeouts in here, and Fulmer has like decent pitches and gets a good amount of chases and swinging strikes. But if he's going to be the chalky option here, I want to play some White Sox bats. Polka, especially. I like Matt Davidson as well. Wellington Castillo's back. Huh. Didn't see that. And then even Avisel Garcia for 4,100. I know he may be a little bit banged up, but he's been playing through it, and I'm willing to use him here. And then if you get past Fulmer, the Tigers have a pretty poor bullpen as well. So, yeah, I'm on the other side of that one as far as Fulmer goes.
Okay. So, oh, man, this is weird. Expected ownership on the White Sox on FanDuel, 11% aggregate. Very high, very chalky. 7% on DK. I don't have them at all. And I'm a little nervous.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just targeting bad bullpens, and the Tigers definitely have one. And I think I actually like Reynaldo straight up better than Fulmer.
I don't have a huge problem with that statement.
Reynaldo, God, like he's been better more recently than Fulmer. I know Fulmer has been hurt for a while, but last couple starts, not doing anything crazy, but went 7 innings, 6 strikeouts in Yankee Stadium against the same Tigers team. It was on the road 2 starts ago, 5 2/3, 7 strikeouts, 2 earned runs. Like he had a 12% swinging strike rate in that Yankee game. I don't know. If he's going to be the lower owned guy, I'll definitely have more Lopez than Fulmer. And I'm going to be over the field on Lopez. So I will say that.
It's a little weird to me. Tigers, my number 3 stack on FanDuel, number 1 on DraftKings. They are heavy chalk on both sites. And I'm eating that chalk right now, but I'm becoming less and less excited about it.
Yeah. Tigers chalk. I mean, we've seen it work out the last couple times, it seems like. But, man, that was against the Yankees, too.
Yeah. They are the natural combination with Scherzer tonight. This afternoon, I guess. This game is scaring me. I don't know where to be.
There's kind of a lot of exposure, especially on the Tigers. Man, I didn't see McCann and Candelario. Wow.
Ronnie Rodriguez, 20% owned.
Reynaldo becomes a really good leverage play as well.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't realize that. So I like Reynaldo even more now. Tigers are going to be chalk on a slate with the Red Sox and the Cubs and the Brewers even against Hamels. Like, got lefties against Matt Harvey and the Braves too, the Nationals. why do we want to play a terrible team as chalk on a 7-gamer?
To get Max Scherzer, apparently.
I know, but man, they still have to do something if you have Scherzer.
Yeah, look, I agree. I'm not liking my stance here, and I have a feeling that I will pull down on the Tigers by the time I get closer to lock.
Yeah. Oh, Astros too. I didn't even mention them.
To the Twins? Twins and Astros? Final game of the slate. Wait, did I skip a game?
No.
Oh, yeah, we talked about the Brewers. Twins and Stros, 3.4 run implied total for the Twins, 5 for the Astros. It's a 68% chance to win for the Stros. Kyle Gibson going for the Jakes. Dallas Keuchel going for Houston. I loved Keuchel last night on the night shift. We are projecting 45% ownership. I only have 37 right now, but I still love him. He's just in a really nice spot here. $7,900 is a really nice price. 3.4 run implied total for the Twins. Second lowest on the slate. Twins 85 weighted runs created plus against lefties this season. Essentially no power, which is kind of crazy. So I love Dallas Keuchel here, and I'm going to have quite a bit of him. What say you on Dallas Keuchel?
I just think he's somewhat safe. And 7,900, I think he's just got a good chance at getting you 18 to 20 DK points, and that's exactly what you're looking for. He's probably the safest guy in this range, I would say, including Fulmer and Lopez and Gibson and Urena and Velasquez. So, yeah, I mean, I definitely have interest in Keuchel. I don't know that I'll get to 45%. But there is a little bit of strikeout upside here with Sano in there and Garver, if Tyler Austin's in there as well. You get Mauer from the left side, a little less pesky from the left side for Mauer. The Twins are just a bad team. So, yeah, I mean, some interest in Keuchel, but again, not sure that I get to 45%.
Okay. Bats. I assume you love the Astros here. I barely have them on FanDuel, only 2% aggregate ownership. We're projecting 9. All of that is going to Springer, Altuve, Bregman, and Correa. And then they are very chalky on DraftKings, 16% expected ownership. They are just a notch behind the Tigers in terms of ownership. I only have 11%. So I'm with, like, I like having those top 4 guys, but I'm not going crazy. I just don't understand why we would get 16% aggregate ownership to the Astros and only 3 to the Red Sox. Seems like a weird split. So I will happily have a ton more Red Sox and then be at, a little over half of the field for the Astros.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I prefer the Red Sox straight up over the Astros, even if they were the same exact ownership. You throw in ownership in the Red Sox being lower owned. Gibson's a good pitcher. Like, people don't realize Gibson is good. He's been good for over a year and getting solid results as well. It's not just like the fancy stuff that nerds like me look at, like the plate discipline numbers. Like, he's getting good results. So, I mean, I don't want to play the Astros righties as chalk against a guy with an elite slider.
40% Springer, 40% Altuve.
Okay, Springer's done very little all season to deserve 40% ownership against anyone. I know he had a homer yesterday, but congrats. Like, what is that, like his 6th on the season, it seems like?
Damn, shots fired.
No, I mean, I just don't want to play a team against a guy with a really good slider as chalk. Will you have Gibson?
No.
Because that's such a good leverage spot. Like, everyone's waiting on their Astros. They start an hour later, and he just goes out there and throws a gem. I could see it. Maybe not doing it with a ton of strikeouts, but like Correa will strike out against righties. And then, like, I know these guys hit righties well, but if he's getting ahead of these guys, I don't think they're going to have success. So you're banking on a Kyle Gibson blow-up start that he hasn't given you all that many times this year, except last time out in Cleveland. But that's a completely different lineup, filled with lefties at the top: Jose Ramirez and Brantley and Lindor. this plays right into Gibson's hands. A bunch of righties. You can throw that slider if he gets ahead and put him away.
I can't go to him just because I don't think it's necessary. Like,
right,
man, you need a very specific game for him to be what you need. I don't mind having a couple lines to be on the opposite side of that leverage of Astros heavy chalk, but yeah, I'd rather just ignore him.
I don't know. I'm going to play some Gibson. He's another one where like he's just going completely ignored, and you get the leverage. He doesn't need to do anything spectacular for 6,700. And honestly, Gibson could work out and go 5 or 6 innings, and then the Astros could destroy this Twins bullpen. So, you may not even get there if you play Gibson. So just keep that in the back of your mind.
Yeah,
it's not like the Twins have a shutdown pen. But yeah, I mean, if he's going to be 1% and some of these Astros bats are going to flirt with 30 and 25, then yeah. I think people are just playing the Astros bats because they're big names and they're against a guy that people don't think is good, but actually is good. Or maybe some people think is not good. And they see the 5-run total. But I think that's some flawed logic there.
Yeah, I don't disagree. That's the early slate, people.
Yeah. You see how many people we got in here?
I did not.
More than I expected.
Yeah, it's a good showing. People trickling in.
We're waking up.
Let's hit the main slate, but let's go over it sort of holistically, not going game by game.
Sure.
Let me pull that up now. Oh, 5-gamer tonight, so not a ton of interesting stuff. Do we have ownership on the main slate yet? We do indeed. 9 minutes ago. That is perfect timing. Gracias, Tom, or whoever's doing it right now. I can only assume it's Tom.
Tom's grinding.
Yeah. No Eddie, no Alex right now.
Oh, they're both gone?
Eddie is on vacation as well.
Boy.
All right, DK ownership, boom. FanDuel ownership, boom.
Matt Shoemaker, wow. I haven't seen him start a game in forever.
Yeah, I don't have any of that. Chalk pitching for the morning slate, or for the evening slate, rather. Zach Godley, 48% on DK. Erasmo Ramirez. Did I not paste FanDuel incorrectly? Nope, I did not. We have it wrong for DK or for FanDuel.
Oh, we did.
FanDuel's main slate ownership is the early slate. Not important because it's FanDuel and who cares? FanDuel doesn't get too tricky with ownership all that often. Anyway, Godley 48%, Erasmo Ramirez 47%. What do you think of those two guys being the two chalk pitchers? Now, don't get me wrong. Alex Wood is 39%, Stroman 35%, and DeGrom 24%. So it's basically all of those 5 guys and no one else.
Man. So just looking at this as a whole, I think it's Chirinos that's coming out of the bullpen for Tampa.
That's who I have as well.
He's a guy I have a lot of interest in. I think he's good. He gets swinging strikes, he gets chases, and he usually is allowed to go 5 innings, sometimes 6 if things are going really well, and get near a starter's workload. You've seen him get him around 90 pitches a bunch of these outings. Let's see what else. So DeGrom, is he going just overlooked because of the matchup against the Dodgers? Because I think that's a mistake.
Did you look at his price tag?
Yeah, but you can fit him in with the guy Trinos. You can fit him in with Erasmo if you want to go that route. You can fit him in with Josh Rogers or whoever. So that's, I'll do some of that. DeGrom has a really good chance of being the highest scoring pitcher on this slate.
He does.
So you may need that if a cheap stack goes off. I'm
not huge on DeGrom. 13-4 on a day like this is kind of insane.
he's just so good that even against my Dodgers, I'm willing to use him.
Look, I have a little bit of him. I won't get to 24%. I'd rather have Godley and Wood.
Oh yeah, I mean Godley should be the chalk. Under 10K against the Padres team that he should be able to dominate. I know this one's at home, but he pitches fine at home. The roof is going to be closed because it's 100 degrees in Arizona. And then I have to assume the chalk bats will be Angels, Rangers, correct?
Rangers are the chalk stack on DK. Angels second. And then Diamondbacks and Mariners.
Yeah, that's fine with me. I'm trying to see when Shoemaker last started.
I want to know how much Erasmo Ramirez you're going to have.
Very little.
Okay, like so me having 80% is kind of crazy to you? Oh my God.
Have you ever had 80% of anyone?
On a 5-game slate, yeah.
Okay.
He's hitting my ownership cap today.
Man, Shoemaker hasn't started since March. That's nuts. Has he been going out of the bullpen? I can't remember if he got hurt. I just haven't seen his.
I didn't even look because he's just not in play. I didn't need to do anything further.
Let's see. It's a 5-game slate. Everyone's kind of in play.
Nope.
No?
He is not in play at 7,400. No.
What about Stroman?
I have 9% Stroman, but we're projecting 35.
Yeah, he's someone. I mean, I'd rather play Stroman at 35 than Erasmo at, what'd you say it was, 40?
Erasmo is at 47. I have 80.
Yeah, so give me Stroman all day. Give me Chirinos over Erasmo. I'll have more exposure to all those guys. I just don't think Erasmo is that good. And to play him at chalk on a short slate, I think things could go pretty bad for him here. Like I'll play VR and Adam Jones and Mancini. Erasmo gives up a ton of hard contact. 48.5% for the season, the 472 xFIP. Doesn't really get strikeouts all that much. I know Baltimore will help you out in that area, but definitely has some trouble with quality contact.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not enthused about it, but it's just kind of how it breaks for me today, at least so far. 3.6 run implied total for the Orioles is a lot of my interest. Let's take a look at Erasmo here.
I mean, yeah, Erasmo's good, at serving up dongs. There you go.
Yeah, thanks, Michael.
I mean, anytime you're giving up near 50% hard contact in even like however many start sample he's had, 6 or 7, like I'm going to target against you, even if I don't love the bats. There are guys that hit righties pretty hard. The guys I mentioned, you start off with Mullins and VR. Let's see how Erasmo is at holding runners. That's one thing I wanted to check.
There you go.
Oh, no. Okay. So he doesn't allow a lot of attempts, but 75% success rate. Let's see what he has on the season. Give me Chirinos. There you go. I'm with you, Michael.
No Yanni for me.
No Laurel?
No.
No attempts on Erasmo this year. That's interesting.
Too scared.
Not that, yeah. Maybe it's just because they just are rounding the bases with home runs. They don't really have chances to get stolen bases.
No chances to steal when they're just getting sent back to the dugout. Give me all of the Erasmo Ramirez.
Yeah, I'm not with that. I just really like leveraging ownership on these. Like we're seeing, I think that's bad chalk. I really do. So anytime that's happening, I think there's some bad chalk on the early slate too. With Fulmer, and there's someone else too. I'm forgetting.
I don't remember either.
Maybe the Astros bats. The Astros bats bad chalk. So anytime there's bad chalk, I'm making a big stand the other way.
Reasonable. Reasonable. I'm on Team Erasmo, though, at least for right now.
You're eating the chalk.
I am. Num, num,
Anybody
num.
have anything in chat they want us to...
I'm eating the chalk, and then I'm buying like a second helping of chalk to eat.
Covering their whole driveway with chalk.
Yeah.
There you go.
Look, I'd rather have all of one of Erasmo or Stroman than split it on both.
FanDuel main is fixed, Tom says.
Thanks, Tom.
Anything stick out to you on the FanDuel?
I doubt it. With only one pitcher, it's rarely like... It rarely has a chance to get squirrely.
Yeah, so you're seeing Godley, DeGrom. Very easily the highest owned options.
Yeah.
Alex Wood after that. Man, not a very exciting 5-gamer. But anytime Erasmo Ramirez is chalk, I'm in.
Yeah. Godley, DeGrom, and Wood making up 78% of the ownership on FanDuel, as expected. So yeah, that's a quick look there. Don't have too much to go over on the main slate, but we will talk about it tonight.
Any early dawn calls you want to wait for that for the live stream?
Right. For the early show?
For the early slate, we could do dawn calls now.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
Let me pull it back up. Do you have anybody you want just off the top of your head?
Yeah, give me Anthony Rizzo.
Anthony Rizzo. Okay. All right, you've got Rizzo. I will go with... I got to make sure that whoever I say is actually in the lineup now, because we've had, like, Hoskins isn't playing today. Man, not a ton of good options today. Give me Corey Dickerson.
All right, that's fair. The chalk again. Got to stick to your brand, I guess, for today at least.
Yeah,
you don't.
I mean, he's not like a huge home run hitter. He's pretty low in my model, actually. Lower than I would normally pick someone.
True.
Alrighty.
Let's see. We just got a message quick. In the comments.
Alrighty, everybody.
Did you see that?
I did. We are going to wrap this up. Myself and Laffy will be live right around 11 o'clock doing our first version, myself and Laffy together, our first version of the process show. So we're going to take a look at some guys that we might be disagreeing on today and sort of get a deeper look into how Laffy approaches the slates. In the comment section, don't be afraid to list who you think will be your best stack of the day for this early slate. I know my option is going to be the Red Sox, but we'll see where everybody else stands. So drop that in the comments. We'll total them up and see who's right and who's wrong.
Give me that Cubs stack.
And at the end of this week, we will be giving away a free sub. So tune in, be ready. We will do that on Friday. Someone coming away with a free sub to Osimo. More details to come, but
very nice.
Pay attention to it because we're going to do it on Friday. Jake, you want to add anything else? Jake has spotlight hitters, pitchers, and stacks out today. We will have daily game plan this afternoon, correct?
Daily game plan, yep. We will have, what else? Live stream tonight. It's me and you, correct?
It will be me and you.
Yeah, so double trouble with Jake and Josh today. We'll be talking about this riveting 5-gamer on the main slate, tilting or sweating our early slate lineups. Thanks for watching. We got a decent amount of viewers.
Yeah, slam that like button, everybody. Like and subscribe. Helps us out big time. So if you can pop that thumbs up, we'd appreciate it.
Yeah, the terrible twos. Yeah, should be an interesting early slate as well as an interesting main slate. So I'm going away from what I think is the bad chalk, which is the Astros, bats, and Fulmer.
Can't say I blame you. Alrighty. Best of luck, everybody. I will be back shortly, and then Jake and I will see you tonight. Adios.